Issue 129. After Eggman boasts to Sonic, he uses his omnipotence to make Sonic an old man with a beard. And Sonic thinks that Eggman's turned back to his normal self to taunt him. Sonic, are you forgetting the green aura clearly surrounding him? Sonic plans to catch him off guard, and he realizes he can't run anymore because of arthritis. Eggman shows him a mirror to let him see that he's old, and green as well. And Eggman says that Sonic said he was going to beat him in the end, so he's taking them 65 years forwards in time so they can find out if that was true. No, he doesn't understand, clearly. He brought them both forwards in time, and during that time, Sonic wouldn't have been able to continue fighting with him because he'd be gone from the timeline, since he seemed to have woken up 65 years ahead in time without experiencing the years before that. How else could it work? He said he's taken Sonic ahead in time. Sonic just got made older with magic. Eggman shows Sonic people celebrating Robotnik Day with a parade, as most of the civilians look unhappy and serious. After Sonic points it out, Eggman says there's no fun in being a dictator if people are happy about it. I'd say the opposite. Why would he even bother making them do a parade if it's not showing that they genuinely like him? It's hollow and fake, and Sonic doesn't point that out. Then Sonic gets brought back to the present, conveniently returned to his normal age, because Eggman doesn't want to miss out on 65 years of humiliating him. He runs through Eggman, and gets teleported to a bad Eggman impersonator, who for some reason calls Sonic the worst Sonic they've had on the show, when he should know that he is Sonic. The audience boos, and one of them calls him an amateur. That's pretty stupid writing, and it's not explaining that Eggman is intentionally making the audience act stupid like that. Eggman changes reality so that he looks like he's dressed like Peter Pan. And Eggman's dressed like Captain Hook. I guess he's just doing this to humiliate him, since it's totally pointless. After another much weirder reality change, and Sonic is shown to be hated by a crowd of people and a judge, reality keeps changing as Sonic says that he'll never give up. See, this is reality changing done right, issue 101 of Archie. Because here, it's clearly explained why it's happening and what's going on right away. After Sonic taunts Eggman, Eggman ends the story by summoning Metal Sonic. We start out the next story in the Diamond Mine Zone, where another museum exhibit has been stolen, inexplicably and with the cameras being obscured. Tails is approached for a second opinion about who could have done the theft, showing that they respect his intelligence, and when they all go to wait in the museum with the doors locked at night, a green chameleon shows up, and Tails can only complain about this not helping his reputation. The chameleon tries a theft, warps away, and Tails finds his footprints in the sand, grass, which makes much less sense. He slings mud by spinning his tails and reveals the invisible chameleon, showing that he must have learned from that time he fought an invisible robot with Sonic. And the chameleon trips on a molehill. Then Tails explains in the aftermath that what the thief did was enter the museum invisible during opening hours to be in there when the doors were locked and left when the museum opened the next morning. That makes sense. In the next story, Techno says that her data chip scrambler has shut down the Eggman fan club's plans for zone domination, as we see a steaming giant duck mech behind Amy. A self-proclaimed world's greatest film producer shows up complimenting them, reminding me of the Steven not Spielberg guy. And I immediately assume that this is one of Eggman's fanboys, since that'd be the easy twist, especially suspicious since Techno and Amy don't know who this famous guy is. The girls are brought to a studio where they're told that these two brawny men are going to play them in the film. Just hit him! Then the girls are given a script where their only lines are stereotypically girly lines. And we see the two burly men not understand what she said and dismiss Amy as using big words. So just like in Archie, this comic is a feminist fanfiction author-tracked too. And unlike in Archie, it feels extremely forced. At least in Archie I could understand that Robotnik was the opposite of a feminist. Badniks show up to chase Amy and Techno, and one of the burly men refused to stop them because he's just had a manicure. The story ends with the studio being destroyed and the collateral damage of Techno and Amy defending themselves. At least the filmmaker wasn't a Robotnik agent, but it would have made more sense if he was. Why would he try to humiliate them otherwise? The first story was by Nitro Kitchen, and shows how reality changing over and over again can be done right, as unlike in issue 101 Archie, it's clearly explained how it's happening right away. Eggman's trying to make Sonic give up, as he's just messing with him. He even tries to make Sonic think that he'll be fighting him in this reality for 65 years, which is ridiculous since we know he's gonna win, and the comic won't be stuck in the timeline for that long. So how'd Sonic be here for that long in the first place? Time travel sucks. The last two stories are by Lou Stringer. The second story is about Tails catching an invisible chameleon museum thief by spotting the tracks he left in the grass rather than mud or sand or snow, and making it invisible with mud that was conveniently there and should have been where the footprints were. For once, I'm not annoyed about a villain having no reason to be a villain because it makes perfect sense that someone who could go invisible would want to abuse that power. And I like that the museum owner went to Tails for his intelligence to see if he could solve the crime case before the detective would, even if he's still insulted as a so-called hero later. And the final story was a disappointment, as I was hoping for a conclusion to the first story, since that kind of conclusion happened last issue with the first story. But instead I got a feminist author track that comes completely out of nowhere, as a filmmaker wants to make a movie about Amy and Techno that's completely sexist, only having them have 2 lines while burly men that are forced to be stupid by the writer to push the point play their roles. It felt very, very forced. I wasn't expecting this at all. At least when Archie did this, it was Robotnik who was the sexist, and it made sense for him. He's evil in literally every way. He even wears asbestos underpants. He's that crazy. And when Badniks conveniently attacked and destroyed the studio, I was expecting them to have been sent by the filmmaker, or one of his cronies. I thought it'd be part of the Eggman fan club, which would explain why he'd be making such a terrible movie, to try to discredit Amy and Techno on purpose. But no, that's never explained.